On tonight's segment of Fact or Fiction, we look at video game violence and its connection, if any, to real-life violence. With the release of another controversial Grand Theft Auto game, we are forced once again to question the relevance of past claims of whether art imitates life. In a new book written by Lawrence Kuttner and Cheryl Olson, we are introduced to the theory that more blame should be given to the parents. The book titled Grand Theft Childhood, The Surprising Truth About Video Games and What Their Parents Can Do. The theory is explored that violent people tend to be more drawn to more violent video games, and that parents need to pay more attention to their kids' behavior before letting them play such games. In our interviews, we were unable to find anyone who disagreed with Lawrence Kuttner or Cheryl Olson's views. We have to agree that video game violence does not create real-life violence. The statement that games determine our actions is a statement of fiction. So next time someone shoots up a school, or anything like that, we have to just blame them, and not blame video games, movies, or any other source of media. We asked Greg Moberg his opinion on the high quality of graphics that the next-gen games have.
Really, I mean, look at like children's cartoons, especially like Looney Tunes and stuff. They're riddled with violence, with no consequences, like Wile E. Coyote getting blown up, people getting anvils dropped on their heads. That's incredibly violent, and there's no consequences. What does that teach children? Hey, I can throw someone off a cliff, and they'll just become a pancake and then pop back up in a second. You want to talk about violence with no consequences? That's a prime example. If anything, better graphics show violence more realistically and might steer people away from, oh wow, if someone gets hit by a car, that's rather violent, rather than a couple pixels on screen, moving around, like in a Pac-Man era game. No, I don't really think anything will make you more violent, except for maybe like joining the military. That tends to make people rather violent.
We asked Evan Valeri his opinion on the effects of video game violence.
I purchased PlayStation 2 for the third time to specifically play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. And I felt that besides the fact I could not tear myself away from the game until I beat it, I was definitely more anxious and more on edge. That's me. But at the same time, I'm able to separate fantasy from reality. I understand that this is a game and I'm not going to go around picking up hoes and shooting people and selling drugs and all this other stuff. So that's fantasy, and it provides a temporary escape for us. I don't understand anyone who can't separate this, where that line is blurred.
Yeah, my final thoughts, I don't know. If you think that video games cause people to do things wrong, then I think you're just completely taking the blame off of the people themselves. That's one of the reasons of the problem with the world nowadays, is we're so afraid of affecting people's self-esteem or whatever. It's like, oh, the video games do it. No, you did it because you're crazy, okay? You're crazy. I mean, it's not like I'm going to go play Grand Theft Auto 4 and then go outside and jack the first car I see. I mean, I still know the difference between a video game and reality. If you don't know the difference between video game and reality, that's where you run into a problem. That's what makes you crazy.
Hey, yo, what are you doing?
Yo, what you hit me for?
Whoa.
Hell out of the car.
The statement that games determine our actions is a statement of fiction.